As many of you know, a terrible film came out recently called Cabrini about, purportedly, Saint Francis Xavier Cabrini. Now, in the scathing film review that I gave, I promised in the description of the video to release a series of letters, penned, of course, by her own hand, to show her true spirituality and her deep sanctity. Without further ado, we will start on a book called The Travels of Mother Cabrini, which are a series of her letters containing just about everything you need to know about her life from her own hand. Chapter 1, Second Voyage to New York, April 1890. My dear daughters, when I left you last Wednesday, I tried to think that I was only going as far as Milan, and would therefore remain near you. But in Milan, when I was about to undertake such a long journey across the ocean and leave you for a long time, I felt overwhelmed. Relief came when I remembered the promises made by each one of you to study, to become true brides of Christ and worthy missionaries of his Sacred Heart. How much this thought, my daughters, softens every pain. It makes me find sweetness in all labors and crosses, should I have any, and gives me great joy. If we reflect well, for us there are no distances. The missionaries of the Sacred Heart of Jesus must participate in the immensity of this divine heart, who embraces all, comprehends all, animates all, unites all in himself. It is he who sustains us in these temporary separations, who makes us share in his strength, who communicates to us every grace. He is our true treasure. Love him with all your hearts. Serve him faithfully. Encourage all souls to be detached from creatures, from all things, even from themselves, that they may succeed in possessing his perfect love, which is an anticipation of heaven. Let all your affections, my daughters, be centered in this beautiful heart, and you will always be happy. But if, instead, you foster private affections that tie you to self or to creatures, you will always have annoyances, hours of disgust, and melancholy. Free yourselves and put on wings, I pray you, in order that you may rise above the earth. Arrival at Paris. The journey has been very happy. While we were passing through those high chains of mountains, and admiring so many beauties of nature created by God just to give pleasure to his creatures, our souls felt raised to sublime meditation. It was beautiful to notice the sweet impression the many various sights they saw made on the minds and in the hearts of the sisters, for this was the first time that they had made this journey. About 2 a.m. someone opened the door of the compartment and asked us to alight, but we did not obey, because we had been told it was a through train to Paris. 3 minutes later they returned and begged us again to leave the compartment, but they received no satisfaction, because I did not understand what they were saying. Sister Ignatius, half asleep, contented herself with answering, "Close the door." To bring us to our senses, the station-master, accompanied by several porters, told us that the carriage in which we had broken down. At last we understood and left the compartment in haste. Quicker than I could tell, our luggage was transferred to another compartment, where we remained very comfortable until we arrived in Paris. We then thanked our dear spouse for the great love he had shown us in preserving us. We made a very fervent spiritual communion and went to sleep again. We arrived in Paris an hour and a half behind time on account of the accident. Nevertheless, we found Mrs. Gabin awaiting us. At once she conducted us to the Church of Our Lady of Victories, where we all received Holy Communion to the great joy of our souls. This being our first visit to this sanctuary, it left a great impression on me. The Most Holy Virgin, our loving Mother, invited me, maybe, because I have placed our Institute and each one of you in a special manner under her protection, and through her in the heart of the child Jesus. What beautiful graces will shower down upon us for our sanctification, for the good of the Institute, and for the salvation of the souls. We spent a few hours, accompanied by a lady who was our guide, in viewing the principal streets and sights of importance. A little after midday, we took train for Havre, and arrived there about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Saturday the 19th. This morning we went to visit and pay our respects to the captain and commissioner. They listened with great courtesy and offered their help in all our needs. These persons did not know us, but they were so kind to us. From this we can learn to appreciate the great love the heart of Jesus has for his spouses. He heaps upon us benefits and favors we do not merit. Let us be ever grateful, so that gratitude may obtain for us greater graces. This morning we went on deck, saluted the sea, the image of the immensity of God. Then we recited our prayers, which, without effort, came fervently from our souls. We then recited the Ave Maris Stella. We did not sing, because we were afraid of disturbing the other passengers on board, but the Most Holy Virgin, who had blessed our departure, listened to the melody of the affections of her devout daughters, if not the melody of their voices. At 9 a.m. we left the port, and in a short time we were soon on the open sea and had lost sight of land. It was raining a little, but the passengers said we should have a good voyage. We did not feel anxious about this, because we knew we were in the hands of God, enclosed in the most sacred heart of Jesus, and this thought rendered us secure and tranquil in every event. As soon as Sister Battistina saw the boat move, she said she felt a dizziness in her head. Half an hour later she was very sick, and one after the other followed her example. I was the only one who remained unaffected. I wished the boat were steady, so that I might go on with my work, but I found I had to give up all idea of this. However, I continued to feel much better, and by degrees I felt I could breathe more freely. This, too, helped me to raise my soul to God, and I could almost say in all seriousness what I said a few days ago, that if the Sacred Heart would give me the means, I would construct a boat called the House of Cristoforo, bearer of Christ, to traverse with one community, little or big, so as to carry the name of Christ to all people, to those who yet do not know him, and also to those who have forgotten him. But these are futile thoughts, and I do not permit them to occupy my mind, but they serve for a little recreation. At 10:30, the bell rang for breakfast. They all found courage to come to table with me, but could not take anything, and they soon left one after the other. Sister Ignatius tried to force herself to eat and keep herself strong, but half through the meal she also had to follow the others. I remained alone and stayed until breakfast was over. Sunday, April 20th. Yesterday at dinner, all the sisters came to table and took a little refreshment. Then we all went on deck to inhale the air and revive and refresh our lungs. At 7:30 we returned to our cabins. We stayed a little time and said prayers. Towards 9 o'clock we went to bed and slept all night. The sea was very calm. Sister Assunta thought she heard a hurricane, but it was only a little rain beating against the windows. You should see poor Sister Assunta. She looks so woebegone. How would she be if the sea were at all rough? However, she laughs heartily when asked what is worrying her and making her look so miserable. This morning the sea is still very calm. I have never seen it so calm. It is literally like a lake. The boat goes so quickly, and we don't feel the motion at all. The sun shines beautifully, and the air is good. There is no odor in the cabin whatever. The boat is so well built and well ventilated, we seem to be having a journey on land. For all that, all the sisters were not able to be present at breakfast, and the few that came were not able to stay. I soon found myself alone as yesterday. The steward, who was near us at table, gave orders to the waiters to bring something special for the sisters who were sick. Poor sisters! At every movement of the boat they think we are in a great storm. Sister Aletta would like to have the boat stopped, at least during meals. I told the steward this just to make him laugh. He is so kind. He looks like a Saint Francis de Sales. How many beautiful thoughts the calmness of the sea suggests. We see in it the happiness of a soul that lives in the tranquillity of the grace of God. In such a fortunate soul all is calm, peace undisturbed. It has the capacity of raising itself to the sublimity of the divine mysteries. This gives us a vision of the immensity of the power of God, who commands this endless sea, who could rise in whirling billows, while on the contrary it remains calm. Calm and tranquil. God commands the sea, and the sea obeys. If also in religion every sister would obey her superior, with perfect submission, that is, without relying on her own judgment, what calmness, what tranquillity, what a sweetness of paradise would be hers. My daughters, act in this way, be obedient, be most humble, not having your own judgment, submitting with great peace and simplicity to your superiors, and there will be in your houses a true anticipated paradise, which will precede the eternal one which awaits you. It seems as if Jesus himself has said to the sea, "Peace be with you." Hence, this is a figure of a pure soul, without wrath, who leaves all and is united exclusively with her beloved and divine spouse, reposing on his left arm, while with the right he caresses her. My dear daughters, be purely disinterested, be detached from all things and all persons, and also from yourselves, from your desires and inclinations, and thus be like a true sea of peace. You will become like a great ocean, because the pure soul is capable of great things, and the mind is thus able to wander in the immensity of God. The soul, full of earthly ties, full of attachments, is always narrow, very small, understands little, pusillanimous, frequently dejected, and is never able to throw itself into the immensity of divine service. I don't want any such souls among my daughters, nor among my friends. I want you all to have wings and fly swiftly, and repose in that blessed peace possessed by a soul that is all for God. Therefore I desire to be likewise. Then pray, my daughters, pray for me. I have many desires, but all are barren. If these desires were talents, oh, how badly off I should still be, because I should be obliged to multiply them. Even now they lie hidden and bear no fruit. The thought that we can always humble ourselves and obtain pardon from God is a consolation for me. Yes, my daughters, let us always humble ourselves before God in every instant of our life, and we shall be, by God's merciful condescension, raised above our pettiness, and we shall be admitted to a foretaste of the peace and tranquillity of which the sea I am crossing is an image. We shall resume on Saint Francis Xavier Cabrini's letters soon. Until that time, until we can pick up the second voyage to New York, April 21st, Monday, 1890, I bid you all a very fond farewell. May God bless you, and Mary keep you.